everybody, welcome to Mindset versus Motivation. I am your host, Carla, and on today's video, I will be going over this book, another chapter from the book, The Emotionally Absent Mother. And also, at the end of the video, and I may chop it up in two parts, so make sure you check out the second video because it takes so long for a 54-minute video to upload. So I'm going to break it down into two parts. Okay, so please make sure you check out the second video so you can get the tarot reading that will give you direction as to what you need to do if the message resonates with you. And let me start out by saying something hit me today, and I wanted to share this with you all. If you want to change your life, you have to try not to complain. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when you complain or dwell on what's going wrong in your life, more things will go wrong in your life. Today it hit me. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. Most of my life, I've been an entrepreneur or worked for myself. And today, my hours got cut on my job. And I said to myself, my hours got cut. And that means less money. And I just said, you know what? That just gave me the fire to pursue what I need to pursue to have the type of life that I want to have. And the life that I want to have is not depending on someone else to make sure that I have enough, i.e., a job. Now, there's nothing wrong with a job. It's a means to an end. We all have them. But it just hit me, and I said, well, you know what, Carla? Now it's time to go hard for what you are trying to do in your life. Now it's time to buckle down and cut out the distractions and focus and study so you can achieve what you want to achieve in life. That's what hit me today, because sometimes some things happen to you not to break you down, not to beat you down, not to mess you up, but to put that spark inside of you to make you take action. If you lose your job, what do you do after that? You take action. You get serious about finding another one. You do what you have to, if you're someone who want to make money. You do what you have to do. You fill out, you create resumes, you fill out application, you go door to door, you do what you have to do. That job loss sparked something inside of you that made you want to get out here and do what you need to do to get the life that you want to have. Now, I used to have a saying, and I can't quite remember the whole entire saying, but never allow someone else to decide whether you eat or not. And that is saying control you. Control your money. Control how the amount of money and the potential amount of money you can make. So I took that right hook in stride today. And I said to myself, you know what, Carla? It could be worse. There are people going through worse situations. I have my health. I have a roof over my head. I have a car to drive. I have a job, even though the hours are a little bit sketchy, but I have one. So it's bringing in an income. You know, it could be a lot worse. That's when you start to train your mind to stop complaining and focus on the things to be grateful for. The things to be grateful for. You start to shift. And when you do that, instead of going into, man, this place sucks. Or I never should have. Or I wish I could have. You know, instead of going into that mode, you shift your mind and start thinking about what you want. What do you really need? How do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Yes, anything is possible if you put your mind to it. So I just wanted to start out by saying that. So now, let's get into the book. We have went over this book, chapters 1 through 3. We are moving on to chapter 4. Chapter 1 through 3 basically discussed attachment styles, the effect your parent, specifically your mother's attachment style towards you has affected you. We also went into the many traits or characteristics of a good mother. Now, on today, this beautiful Tuesday evening, yes, this beautiful Tuesday evening, we're going to get into, chapter 3. And before I scare you off, I don't go over the entire chapter. I just pull out the important parts of the chapter, so it won't be long and drawn out. But I suggest you pick up this book if you have any childhood wounds, if you have an emotionally absent mother or had an emotionally absent mother. This book, I believe, will help you. So let's start with chapter 4. More building blocks. Attachment is only one of the many building blocks that make us who we are. In this chapter, we'll do a quick review of the secure relationship and then proceed to other elements that help support a child's developing sense of self. Feeling safe and secure. Safety and security are experienced somewhat differently for a child than for many adults, although, as some have noted, in times of emergency, we all want to contact, including touch, with the people most important to us. When the fireworks are flying, we cling to those we hold most dear. For the young child, safety is being enveloped in an attuned, caring environment. It is not about locks on the doors, but a sense that mommy will watch out for me. Mommy will remember me. I am precious to her, and she's not going to forget about me. If mommy is preoccupied, distracted, or annoyed and doesn't provide this, the child feels less safe. When you are dependent, security is feeling that the person you rely on is dependable. To appreciate the vulnerability of dependency, imagine that you are flying in a plane that has only one pilot, and you realize that the pilot is drunk. Or you're just going under for surgery and it dawns on you that the surgeon doesn't know what she is doing. For the young child with an emotionally absent mother, It's like discovering the captain of the ship is just a mannequin and not really human. The child's sense of safety is built from many things: feeling the mother's competence, sensing her attunement to the child, and feeling held. Writing from the perspective of a very young inner child, one woman recorded this in her journal: I want to be held in a pink blanket with support all around me. I want to feel securely held, securely contained, secure. That seems like a new feeling, wrapped in a warm, safe place with lots of protection around me. If I was securely contained, I wouldn't need to hold myself together. This last phrase is interesting, given that the comment by pediatrician and psychoanalyst D.W. Winnicott, who said that a mother holds the child's bits together. She is the glue, his container. When the mother is really there, lovingly holding the child, it gives the child something to hold on to. Ultimately, that is the mother's heart. It is worth repeating that this sense of security provided by the relationship, the secure base, is what makes it safe for the child to explore the world. When we have a safe place to come back to, we can leave just as when we are securely held. We do not need to cling. Research shows that secure babies explore when they feel safe and seek attention when they do not. This is our innate programming. A happy home. For a child, the secure relationship with mother is the first level container for his growth, and a happy home is a larger second container. It would be like a houseplant potted in good soil and then kept in a room with the right light and temperature. A happy home is a place that feels good to be in. People feel friendly toward one another and at peace within themselves. Members recognize that the family is a cooperative unit in which everyone's needs and satisfactions are important. And as a child, you feel that your needs are considered right at the top of the list. Knowing this gives you a place. It gives you support for having needs and being yourself. In a happy home, there aren't continuing crisis. I guess it's crisis. You need to solve or wonder how to endure when you're too young to solve anything. People aren't stuck in power struggles. There aren't silent or not silent wars between family members. In a happy home, you're not all holding your breath. You can relax and be yourself. A happy home may have a second parent, not necessarily of the opposite sex, but it doesn't have to. It helps mommy be happy if she has the support of the other important adults. It certainly doesn't help her when there is an ongoing friction in those relationships. In a happy home, there may or may not be other children, may or may not be pets. In a home steeped in feelings of strain and deprivation, more beings to take care of saps a mother. But in a happy home, mother seems to have enough to provide for everyone without resentment. She seems to enjoy giving. This may be a shock for those whose experience has been quite different. When things go wrong, they can be fixed. A happy, healthy home is not without problems, but these problems can be fixed rather than swept under the rug where they gather into huge mounds. Conflicts are resolved, and there are competent adults who can problem solve a variety of needs. This is critically important in the arena of relationships. A child needs to know that can be there can be angry feelings and times of falling out, but these ruptures can be repaired. In chapter 1, I describe how the good enough mother is frequently off mark, and that repairing ruptures in relationships again and again is part of securing the bond and creating a sense of resilience. This is true whether we're talking about mother-child bond, therapist-client relationship, a relationship with a partner, or any other significant relationship. We need to know that the other can manage the upsetting feelings that come with such ruptures and won't go away, and that together we can fix it. A sense of belonging. Many factors go into creating a sense of belonging for a child. There are obvious external things like sharing the same name, having the same home, and perceiving a likeness with family members, sharing the same look of the eyes or nose or mouth. Secure attachments create a deep sense of belonging because it anchors you, giving you a place in a web of life. That place is bigger than any relationship, but mother as our first relationship sets the stage. Later, we may find belonging by knowing that we are part of a team, a tribe, a neighborhood, a club, a community, a nation, a social movement, or by having our own children and partner. When we have a sense of belonging at several of these levels, we feel embedded, part of something. Feeling valued and known are also part of this belonging. If the family claims you as their own, but you don't really feel that they know you or see you for who you are, you'll feel like an outsider within your own family. And let me pause on that. In my own family, that's what I felt like. I felt like an outsider. I felt like people didn't understand me. People didn't get me. Yes, I was different. Yes, I had my own ways. But it just seemed like everyone else was together and I was just out there in the air doing my own thing. And that may be because I had an emotionally absent mother. Now, by saying emotionally absent mother, it's not to drag her, put her down, or anything. I know that she loves me. She has her own life experiences and may be incapable of showing love the way that I would like it to be shown. Okay, so I just wanted to add that before anyone feels if I'm putting my mother down, and that is not the case. Okay. The budding self. A baby's emerging self is highly impressionable, and a good mother knows that. She treats it with the utmost care and respect, just as she treats a growing bond between them. Their interactions are like passing a shuttle of yarn back and forth, weaving a connection between their hearts. The interactions are critical in shaping the sense of self. The baby's sense of self does not yet take the form of a separate individual, but is steeped in feelings of relationships with the other, in this case, with mother. Mother is the facilitator of the child's developing self, and her support and encouragement of the child's emerging qualities are essential. For the child's true self to have a chance to take hold, it needs to be seen. The only way the child knows that she is seen is by other people mirroring back her feelings and experiences, acknowledging and celebrating her. If the child's unique qualities are not mirrored or supported, they are not available for her as a foundation. Instead of becoming grounded in her own nature, she adapts to what she thinks she is supposed to be, taking on a false self, Some people, this false self, which we all have to some degree, so obscures everything else that is, it's all they know. Okay? A place to grow. If we have if we have any chance at becoming our true self, we need an environment in which we can grow into ourselves, one that provides the ingredients we need in order to develop fully, just as insufficient minerals in the soil will dwarf a plant's growth and change its character. Insufficient nutrients in the early environment stunt our development. The nutrients include unconditional acceptance, I accept you just as you are, respect and value, in addition to mirroring and attuned responsiveness already discussed. You need to be valued for who you are and also valued simply because of the fact that you are. If you don't get this, you feel out of place and like you don't belong. This makes it hard for you to embrace life. What is respected and valued in particular family is what gets reinforced. Here is an exercise. Explore this. So, this is an exercise you can do. Look at the following list and note which of these are your family value. Intelligence, Did your family value intelligence, mastery and achievement, sweetness, innocence, delicacy, sensitivity, hardness, humor and silliness, being tough, being affectionate, needing others, being confident, and on occasional full of self, being in your body in a sensual way, enjoying contact with the world, being attractive, helping behaviors, expression of feelings, imagination, and creativity. Note which of these qualities were disregarded, almost as if they didn't exist. Which were mocked or belittled. What can you see about this? What happened to these qualities that we are not valued when you were growing up? Support for being a child. Think about the characteristics that are simply part of being a very young child. This includes being dependent, having needs, having limited tolerance and frustration, needing things but just right for us, being innocent and naive, being undeveloped and without mastery, expressing emotions quite immediately and authentically, seeking closeness and affection, being delicate and sweet. Aren't these characteristics universally found in children of all cultures and conditions? If these are not censored, now the more telling question, aren't these the very qualities that are often ignored and rejected in our families? To the extent that is so, we are valued for not being a child, but for growing out of it. Of course, we need our parents to cheer us on and value our growing independence and mastery, but too often for the under mother, there has been more support for this side of development than for the innate characteristics of being a child. This is often more interest in our outgrowing early childhood needs than there is meeting these needs. Nurturing, caring, touch. Nurturing, caring is an important building block in developing not only a sense of self, but also a sense of that has value. It is such an essential need that babies deprived of touch often leave the earth. You perhaps have heard of the failure to thrive, FTT syndrome, which was discovered years ago in an orphanage. The babies whose bassinets were at the end of the line withered and left the earth at a much higher rate than those near the front of the line. Even though all were being fed, this syndrome was drastically reduced when researchers realized the difference was that those at the far end were not being picked up and were not receiving the attention the others were, and they then worked to remedy this. Nurturing touch has all sorts of physiological benefits, including promoting growth of the nervous system, stimulating the immune system, and decrease of hormones. But let's focus on the emotional and psychological value. It is through nurturing touch that we feel loved, soothed, and protected. Appropriate touch also helps us locate ourselves in our bodies. The untouched child may be alienated from his or her body and experience feelings of unreality. The sense of reality comes from being grounded in the body, and touch is part of what accomplishes this. A lack of touch or abusive touch may also encourage disassociation, a psychic separation from the body. Paradoxically, a lack of touch can also lead to a sense of imprisonment within the body. In Touching the Human Significance of the Skin, Ashley Montagu writes, "It is a large part to the stimulation of his skin by touch, which enables the child to emerge from his own skin." Montagu explains how a child who has not been sufficiently touched becomes locked inside his own skin and then experiences normal touch as threatening. This is called defensiveness, tactile defensiveness. Such defensiveness can manifest as insensitivity and hypersensitivity to being touched, or in being touch avoidant. So I'm going to continue this and then get into the tarot reading for those who have had have a emotionally absent mother. So please check out the next video.